Warm welcome everyone. You are watching Outline TV. Learning is the only thing the mind never excuses, never fear and never regret. Leonardo da Vinci. Today we have an international guest artist, Marjan Samie. She is a very creative and very energetic artist. Her inspiration from the nature and religion. Her work is very unique. Photography, painting, illustration, and a lot of ideas. She is combining some time and doing work. She have a lot of experience about the Biennales, Italy Biennales, and a lot of exhibition. She did a solo exhibition in 2011. Cultural and Ministry Department honored in 2017 a very creative and cultural artist. Her work is very unique. That's why we are going to very lucky to listen her artistic journey. What she have experience of life in art and what she have a own philosophy of art. How she get the energy. Today we are going to welcome our guest Marjan Samie. Dear artist, warm welcome in our show.
Hello everyone. This is Marjan Samie. I was born in Rasht in the north of Iran. During my life, the world of art has been a dominant and profound influence on me. Since childhood, it was always a prosperous moment discovering creatures and phenomena from an artistic intuition. I was always fascinated by the beauties of nature, like lizards move, small insects move on trees. And I always wanted to know what it is like inside an animal or an insect. Fortunately, my parents never limited me and they allowed me to be a discoverer as old as I was. There was almost always a beetle or other insect in my school bag or closet. I kept them in a container and wanted to look closely at their bodies and find out their differences and similarities. In this way, I became acquainted with a strange world, a world that is called texture. For example, I noticed the similarity in appearance of the texture of leaves or old cracked balls or human wings, or the resemblance of a beetle egg to a bee. This interest grew stronger in me every year. In addition to these childish discoveries and my interest in painting them, some special issue of the day also caught my attention, like the class conflict of families in a city. Something that was difficult for me to find the answer. Perhaps drawing and playing with dolls, talking to trees and insects at that age was a good way to answer my curiosity. The first person in the family to notice my interest in art was my sister. And by participating in the first art competition at the age of 13 or 14, my permanent path was determined. About 25 years ago, the world of technology was not like what it is today. Television and radio were the fastest ways to get news. I do not remember exactly, but at that time, my sister heard the message of the Japan International Painting Competition from a television program for children and teenagers. At the suggestion of my sister, I participated in this competition. The selection of paintings was done in two, national and international. My painting made it to the national but not in Japan. I do not remember the exact subject of the competition. I mentioned cooperation and unity. People who stood in one hand and tried to build a modern society by turning the industrial wheel. For me, being selected and hearing my name on television is one of the most beautiful memories of my life. In the past, choosing art as a way for the future was not very easy. It was a common misconception. Some families thought that if a pupil thought of something other than medicine or engineering, he or she would not be considered intelligent. Fortunately, the announcement of my choice, art, was welcomed by my parents and happily went through all the years one by one. I studied graphic design in high school and painting and visual arts at university. During university, we held group exhibitions with friends in Kerman, the city where I studied. My activities at that time mostly involved visual studies on the texture of trees. Trees opened up a wide world for me. That period was more like swimming in different oceans for me, an ocean of Far East culture, the West, and also the tradition of my country. I wanted to understand each one separately and try to be like an Eastern, Western, and Middle Eastern. I was able to swim in my most interesting ocean through the texture of the trees. I entered to an interesting world through the bark of trees eaten by insects, an abstract world that was sometimes close to the letters of the Far Eastern alphabet to me. My acquaintance with Western art in drawing and painting classes immersed me in an ocean of culture from Greece, Rome, and other countries, Know Thyself, and many more. And Middle Eastern art, especially my country, invited me to the world of poetry and epic. Sometimes I traveled with Sadi and Rumi, and sometimes with Hafiz. The golden, azure, and turquoise colors of the traditional architecture of my country, Iran, invited me to the palaces of heaven. Walking in the ancient architectures and seeing the efforts of artists and people in building Persepolis told me about the empathy and monotony of different cultures, the cultures that had unity to reach the peak. This unity was what I needed to achieve in art, to know and understand myself better. With each artwork, a part of my being was empty. I was looking for unity when I graduated from university and soon found myself with a job in the community. So inadvertently distanced myself from the art world for a while. This break took me away from my goal. I taught at a college for a while, and for several years I worked for Ivy Khadija Fars, where I live in. In my leisure time, I did illustrations and paintings according to the problems of the world, problems that I heard or saw in my own country or in other countries through the news and other media. They upset me. Things like dissatisfaction with injustices, inequality of human beings, or even disregard for the position of human beings in society. These topics have always occupied my mind. I imagine myself as a lawyer or a writer, someone who spoke with a painterly look or a pictorial way on the wallpaper, and it calmed me down. It really suited me like a glass of cold water in a hot summer. No other material like paper and pencil fascinated me. I believe every page of paper is like a book that needs to be opened. So I chose wallpaper that would be like paper and wall and book for me. After a while, at the suggestion and with the support of one of my colleagues, I held my first solo illustration exhibition in Bandar Abbas. After a few years, I left the office because I was not satisfied with my job and I did not see a secure future for myself, and I could not pursue art as I expected. And again, I followed the path of art with more and stronger motivation. Sometimes I worked on my old works, drawing textures, the pleasure of looking back at nature and creatures and using them to express the problems of the world, like a painter who wants to pursue a social duty with his work and use art to serve his fellow man. Then I went to Tehran for a while and stayed with my aunt to see bigger exhibitions and more artworks, as well as to exhibit my second solo exhibition. Being in Tehran and seeing people in a busier society and more artificial life made me take a deeper look around me. Heavy traffic, polluted air, nice but not very healthy food, unreal laughter and joy hidden behind makeup and fashionable clothes. I was watching an abstract documentary of repetitive life. Weak waves of discouragement and emptiness ruled people. The monotonous life lined the people. This documentary became the subject of the second solo exhibition, and I showed rows of people moving in isolation and absurdity and get involved in the today's lifestyle. In the same year, I traveled to my hometown Rasht for a while and stayed with my sister. Walking through the streets of my hometown, the old alleys, the local food, and the native language Gilaki revived my heart. The smell of tradition, the smell of what I am, the smell of nature and the homeland to which I belong to. This interest encouraged me to pursue photo collection of doors. I stayed in Rasht for a few months and then returned to Tehran to hold the exhibition. It was a good experience. After returning to Bandar Abbas, I created a personal website to introduce my artworks and held the third solo exhibition with the theme Man, Religion, Power for one day, and it was well received. The purpose of this exhibition was to pay attention to human nature, to say that every human being can be at the peak or fall according to his humanity and character. I can say it was my best exhibition experience. Then I started gaining more experience by practicing in various art competitions. Some of my artworks were published in the Book of the Year of Graphics in Iran. I also participated in 2 international art competitions, in Italy 2017 and a biennale in the UK in 2018. The subject of the Italian contest was a music to watch. Every artist should illustrate his or her favorite song. My favorite songs are Amelie soundtrack and Game of Thrones. But for this contest, I really wanted to illustrate something based on the song and the artistic atmosphere of my country. I did not have enough time and I was very obsessed. No song caught my attention as it should. At the suggestion of my sister, I listened to the song Why Did You Leave Me, a song by Humayun Shajarian and Reza Tahmouris. It had a very beautiful lyrics and a wonderful performance. I felt like I was listening to a narrative or a story, and very quickly the image was created in my mind. I had little time and my work did not work out as I expected. However, I emailed the artwork image and it was selected as the top 7th work in the online juried by people, and I thank all my friends here. For the UK Biennale, my topic was to introduce one of the oldest stories and beliefs of my hometown. But with a little research, I realized what I have chosen is not limited to a small border. Many other countries in this vast world share common mythical beliefs. And this is one of the beauty secrets of the world. The myth that unite people. And if there is a difference, it is minor. After that, I did not have enough time to participate in other competitions or hold a re-exhibition. By accepting a family painting order, that took me about a year, as well as tutoring and doing art projects such as logo design and accepting painting or illustration orders, I felt the smile I had dreamed of for years. This joy became a stronger motivation for me to pursue art as best I could, get acquainted with different cultures by studying the beliefs and legends of different nations, China, Japan, Persia, Greece. So I tried to follow the past, present, and future and swim in the same oceans that I reached at the end of the university, swimming and find the unity. In addition, I am preparing a family illustration book that may take 20 years to be done, a book that refers to two families. Finally, I do not believe that art has a border. Even by looking at historical paintings, we see that humans were trying to achieve a better understanding about art, life, present, and future. And there were many people who learned the lessons by studying the life and art of the past. Art is a language that resides in mind and heart, and is not limited to any particular regional language. Through art, we can express what language cannot speak. Many thanks to Artline TV latest site for giving me the opportunity to be with you. Thank you.